Yo.
Nothing but air and opportunity. Foundationally, you were like a beacon.
And inspire to
So I think that's a key word, to inspire.
go towards change.
Can we talk about that?
Development and growth.
You've already laid the foundation and groundwork. You feel it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Now hold on. Hold that thought. Take a deep breath. Feel me here, okay?
I got nothing but air and opportunity. Welcome to another episode of Air and Opportunity. Host Chris DePalma here with Dorhio Cabachos.
Yes, sir. We need to let you go a little bit further, though. Is there anything else you want to add this morning? Just to take you out of your comfort zone.
Add?
Yeah. Well, on the opening comments, other than turning it over to me so quickly.
I learned this week.
Yes.
Always, as best as you can, always assume noble intentions.
Fabulous. I love it.
I was schooled on that. I have a bad habit of automatically thinking the worst. And I got schooled this week by someone very important who was like, you gotta bring yourself back down to reality. You gotta assume everyone has noble intentions. And I'm terrible about it. So that's my goal. That's my goal, to get better at this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, without a doubt. Just an opportunity to be thankful for what we have. And so we're at Baltimore Coffee Company.
In
with-
Frederick. I love when I tell people this. Baltimore
Thank
Coffee
you.
in Frederick.
In Frederick, yeah, because there's another location somewhere else, right?
Timonium.
Timonium.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would be called Frederick Coffee Company.
Which we
you
go
know,
to very often.
But
We go to very often.
they should maybe do a subsidiary. They should change it to Frederick Coffee Company, which there already is one, right? If I'm not mistaken. So we have I would have to say, a dear friend who helped my wife and I have one of the best weddings ever in my life, of course.
I was going to say, how can you judge that? You've had
you know,
one.
I'm going off. I'm going off tangent here. So let me come right back to it.
You've been to other weddings, though.
Yeah, I've been to wonderful weddings before. Matt Shew is near and dear to me because he had the best music, was the DJ for Betsy and I. And Betsy, at one point later after our wedding, was in the wedding scene at certain venues. And Matt had DJ'd, I think, at Bluebird. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah. And then Matt became a client for other business purposes and had a wonderful time together with me, you know, learning about some other things. I try to keep that on the side
absolutely.
as far as this podcast. So, Matt, thank you for being here, partner. We look forward to learning more about you and what you've done over the years of being a DJ, and then sharing some insight for us, you know, about things that you've learned over the years that could help other folks who are younger, who we're looking to inspire through just the acts of courage and the things that you've been through to learn more about that. So thank you. Thank you for being here, partner.
Wonderful and
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
What's one thing? What's one thing for you? What's one thing for you, Slim?
One thing that I've learned this week is not taking myself so seriously.
I get a big F for that. Man,
I think it's serendipitous that Matt is here today because he and I have had a chance to talk offline a couple weeks ago when I saw you?
Yeah. At another
coffee shop.
nice. What coffee
Comment-
shop?
That was Gravel and Grind.
Ah, got you.
And he was sharing some things about his daughter. Yeah. And if there's anything that you don't want to talk about, we'll just edit it out.
Yeah, whatever.
And I realized that when I looked at my boys the other day, I go, man, this is not about me anymore.
Yep.
You know, it's about them. And my wife, the other thing too, is like, Chris, you and I were talking about this. She never gives me a pat on the back. And that's my love language. And I go, hold on, it's not about me right now. It's about her and what she's going through, right?
Yep.
And I go, gosh, this is a common theme. So that's what I've taken away for the past week. It's not about me.
Beautiful.
It's about others.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
Lead us
Thank you
off,
for
homie.
asking. All right, where do I start? Well, I'm just going to hit it right on the head, if you don't mind, if I get into this.
Go for it.
All right. Growing up, in my family, which I'm very open about now versus 10, 15 years ago, was addictions and things that, and you and I talked about this, so I hope you're cool with this.
Totally comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alcoholism and dealing with that. So just a backstory for the audience and what Betsy went through and her father, who was an alcoholic. She went to Al-Anon to help her with coping with alcoholism. And that's one thing that I want to make sure people know, that there is hope, there's a chance, there's other people out there that are suffering right now. And how do we help them get better? By just being open about it and just talking about it instead of hiding it. And I've got nothing but a lot of admiration for you for what you've done over the years, and you're an amazing guy. So I want to kind of talk about that because Betsy went through it, and I realized that my family went through it. And I think a lot of people and their families go through it. So how do we cope with that? Where did you start? How did you,
So I grew up in a pretty rural Bible Belt type, I don't know. I feel like it was a classic, like I always say, Leave It to Beaver. I don't know how old the crowd is, but Leave It to Beaver type family where we went to church every Sunday. We hung out with the family, whether it was my mom's family or my dad's family. And there was no divorce in my family. I pretty much had everything I wanted, or pretty much had everything I needed, and most of the things I wanted. And I only say that because I don't think that it was nurture that made me the way I was. But I never drank until I was 19. I saw all these people drinking around me, and I think you guys are a little bit younger than me, but I grew up in the whole say no to drugs era.
Oh, that's what
Nancy Reagan. And saw Len Bias. I was a big college basketball fan, so saw Len Bias, so I don't know whether it's true or not, but did cocaine one time and dead. So I was always scared of that stuff. Yeah. And I never drank until I was 19. But man, whenever I drank, it was I should have known. I mean, it was an ominous warning I failed to heed that the first time I ever drank, I blacked out.
Yeah. The first time.
And I loved it. I loved the whole idea of not having any accountability.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm a good guy. I just drink a lot.
Yeah.
I even had that kind of that thought back then. I didn't, but I realize now I did. And it was just, I just chased that and chased that and chased that. And it was hard for me to come to terms with the fact that I was alcoholic, that I am alcoholic. I'm just in recovery. And have been for a couple 24 hours now. I say that, but it's been, awesome. 7+ years.
Yep. Yeah.
And
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And I know I'm alcoholic because I can't stop drinking once I start, and when I do start, I can't stay stopped. Or when I do stop, I can't stay stopped. Yeah. So that was a hard realization. I mean, I had the house, I had the family, I had the white picket fence, downtown Walkersville, 2 new cars, or newish cars, and things were good.
And I would have never even thought, by knowing you first, I was like, this is great. He's a great guy.
Most people don't realize that, most people don't realize they're alcoholic, but most people don't realize that 1 in 10 people is alcoholic.
Yeah.
I saw a study done by, I think it was one of the Washington Post or Washington Times. A buddy showed me, and it was I think we talked about this at Gravel and Grind.
Yeah. Glad you brought that up.
It was the top 30 percentile of Americans that don't drink. And then it goes to the top up to 40 is 1 drink a year. And then it's 50 is 7 drinks a year. And it keeps progressing. And you get to 80th percentile and it's 15 drinks a week.
Yep.
Which is 2 drinks a day. Which isn't, I wouldn't say if you had 2 drinks a day, that's a problem. I would say it might lead to a problem.
Yeah.
Because I remember my life at that point. And I may have been able to stop. Just on my own had I recognized that.
if somebody would have brought that to your attention.
Well,
at that
people
point in
were
time?
bringing it to my attention.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Because that's what we say.
Denial.
Denial.
Yeah.
Denial. It's not just a river in Egypt. Yeah.
Told you this guy's good.
Yeah, but
let me go back to something. Where did you grow up?
Greencastle.
Greencastle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not too far from here. No. Grew up in Greencastle. Ended up going to college, JMU. Didn't stay very long because I just realized that like I've always loved music. I was there for vocal music performance. So at one time I was like the ringer for karaoke contests. Because you can imagine I love all kinds of music and I like doing impersonations of musicians and. Went there and then Charlotte moved to Charlotte, North Carolina to play in a band for a while. And at this point it was after I'd already like not really been kicked out of home, but and it was because of my drinking.
Yeah.
I would just get drunk and mom and dad would get mad at me and I'd steal the car and leave, So, I mean, I'm surprised I haven't had more ramifications, but moved to Charlotte, got in a wreck that year as a result of drunk driving. I never got charged because, I got charged, but got the, a good lawyer that got me off on a technicality.
We call that privilege.
Yes.
At least that's what I call it for myself because I've been in the same boat.
Yeah. I do have this nice scar on my leg from that car wreck. So you would think that again, another ominous warning. I failed to heed, and I got 3 DUIs over the course of my marriage. Yeah. And that's ultimately that was one of the big. I'm not gonna say that was the only factor, but that was a big factor in the fact that I'm not married anymore.
Yeah,
it's a large component.
Yeah.
Of what it was. So it took a while, and honestly, when I went to rehab, my now ex-wife ran the business while I was away, and I went in there.
She's an amazing.
But you were married when you were in rehab, or you guys had split at this point?
No, we were married, and I was in rehab. She
told
me to
she was running.
She told me to go do the rehab, and I was like, I was trying to figure out a way to. They had a work release program, and I'm like, I work for myself. This is great. I could get out and just go do what I want to do 8 hours a day. But I didn't. She told me to stay.
Yeah.
And as mad as I was about not being able to get out, and as mad as she would later profess to be or whatever, act like she was, I'm glad I was there. I'm glad I stayed there and was there and lived in that and just, went through it. And got out, and to be honest, like I was told by my lawyer to, go to recovery meetings and do X, Y, and Z, and I was doing it mainly just to stay out of jail and keep my marriage.
Yep.
And I realized at some point, probably a couple months in, that I needed to do it for me, because without my sobriety, I have nothing. And started doing it, got lucky, got a good group of guys around me and have been able to stick with it. I know that's not everybody's story, but 1 out of 10, I'll go back to the 1 out of 10 thing. 1 out of 10, you get to the 80th to 90th percentile, and it's 2 drinks a day. And then I think I already told Dario, so I'll just ask you, what do you think the top, like 90 to 100 percentile, how many drinks do you think per week? And this is an average, so it's 90 to 100.
I'm going to say, actually, because I can't wait to touch on this because I was just as bad. So I would say 60.
You're close. 73.
Yeah. Easily.
3
easily.
Yeah, and this was a little while ago. This list was from I don't know if it's even more. That's than crazy. That now. And maybe that's people like lowballing it too. Well, I mean, we'd like to think they're being honest, but
so it's interesting as you
especially
talk
when
about
it comes
this,
to that.
Yeah.
As you talk about this, it's I think it's so much more prevalent than people really admit. But I mean, I was the same way. I mean, even back when we were younger. There was never any in between. It was always just hammered, blackout. Mm-hmm. I was terrible about it. And as we got older, and we were always partying, and as we got older, even as adult, married, kids, my kids were younger, and we would drink, but my wife was always really good. She'd be like, I'm going to have one gin and tonic, and she would just sip on it. And to me, once I start, floodgates open. There is no in between. It's too much.
Yeah.
And so when I was thinking through the numbers, I was thinking through the numbers of like Monday through Wednesday, but then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was way more, right? So 60's a fair number just based on a few a day. But then the other thing is my family, both sides of my family, addiction deep, right? And so I had an aunt who overdosed. She was pregnant and addicted to opioids. She was going to a hospital to be treated while pregnant. While pregnant, was being given methadone for addiction and overdosed. My uncle, other side of the family, addicted from a young age to anything. I mean, it was alcohol, cocaine, opioids. And as he got older, he was my age, at 46, 47, overdosed. And so my mom, my family had always said, take it easy, it's in your, right? And I always was like, no way. So now it's probably been like 2 years, 3 years. My wife and I, 1 year, said, okay, we'll do dry January, right? And we would always go through these times where we would say things like this. And then there was always an excuse as to why we would drink. Always, whether hard day, stress, whatever it was. And then we did dry January. And then we were like, all right, well, let's just go through February. Let's feel good. By the time we got through February, we were like, let's go the year. We feel amazing. So we went all of 2024, no alcohol. And then my wife stuck with it. And then 2025, I work for a company that it's a German company, and they believe heavily in getting together and drinking.
Yeah.
And so I made an agreement with myself that, like, if I was in Germany for work, I would have a drink, right? And even so, I'll pause there too. The other thing is my brother, same exact thing, gone through the same, married, beautiful family, picture perfect, great job, money, drank, right? And just overdid it, lost just about everything. And so I had that same discussion with him a year ago. I was like, yeah, I decided to, like, every once in a while at work, and he called me out on it, really. I mean, obviously he's been through the program. So he went through rehab. He did the live-in, a whole program. It was 6, 8, 9 months, got out, did work release, heavy into the meetings. He leads meetings. It's still very heavily in it. But when I brought up, I'm just going to do it socially, he definitely called me on it. And now I will say this, I definitely have, like, when I went to Germany, I had a drink with a group of people, but I was proud of myself because I was like, that's it. I said I'd have one, and I only had one. But I definitely now go months and months and months, 6 months where I don't. But now I'm like, I don't want to at all. And I do even think it's bullshit to say I'm just going to have one socially, because it's like, if you're not going to, then don't. Just don't.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I wanted you to know too, like, I feel like I've lived it. The only thing I didn't do was, and there was probably plenty of times where I should have said, you might need help, I might need help. You know what I mean? Fortunately, between my wife and I together, I think we did good. Anyways, yeah. I say all that because I do really want to make sure people know it's not just you and you're here because of it. It's us. I mean, we've lived it too, minus rehab and getting better. Yeah. The other thing I love about folks that have gone through rehab too is, you had mentioned when we opened, as long as you don't mind talking about it, what I love is my brother has been through it. And once folks go through it, they're like an open book. Like, my brother will say the most open and honest things. And at times you're like, but I admire that, because I feel like when people go through rehab and they go through the process, the program, I feel like there's like such a sense of like clarity, and they're just so open and honest with themselves and honest with people, whereas other people tell themselves stories. I admire it.
Why do you think that is?
You're only as sick as your secrets.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and until you bring all that darkness into the light, like, how free do you want to be? My buddy Brian used to always say, "How free do you want to be?"
I love that.
I mean, I'll just say it. I know this is probably breaking the traditions of the program, but I do Alcoholics Anonymous, and the book of Alcoholics Anonymous talks about, we would go to any lengths to be rid of this. So that means like saying all of our deep, dark stuff. And it also talks in there about how people, how we'll share in a room of people that are like us, and we'll say some of that sick, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like they relate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like they speak the language of they have a secret, like, alcoholism addiction decoder ring, and you say something and they're like, yeah, I can totally relate to that. That's some sick stuff in your brain. But
and congratulations too on 7 years, right? 7 years. 7.5. And I say that because a lot of the guys, or a lot of the people that my brother went through rehab with and AA with have relapsed. And I mean, some of them will he knows people that have gone 10, 15 years and relapsed, and so I know it. I mean, it's commendable for sure.
I've heard this. I mean, I've seen it. I've witnessed it firsthand. I mean, I see the people come in, they get it 1 year. I don't know if it's true, but there's a joke in the rooms that the 18-month chip is the one that, like, is the most seldom received chip, because people get like a year and they're like, oh, maybe I'm
good.
Fixed.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good. Maybe I can have a drink.
Yep.
And that would have been the worst. I used to joke around, but I used to kid myself into thinking that I think, I could go out if I'm on a date or whatever and have a glass of wine with dinner. But now I know that that's not. I take one, and that like mental,
boom,
that really mental, peculiar twist I have is going to be like, well, you got away with it last week. Maybe you could do it this week. Yeah. And literally before you know it, I guarantee I'd be drinking a fifth.
Yep.
So
let me go back to when you went through rehab.
Yeah.
What helped you stay the course? I'm sure there were days, like you're saying, I'll just have one. What keeps you from not now these days? Like,
so the three key words that everyone, you'll hear this, are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. I think opportunity met my willingness whenever I got that third DUI. In fact, I had a weird, like, it was almost like I don't know, it was almost like a spiritual experience when I got pulled over, because I was browned out that night. And I explained to people that a blackout is like time travel. Yeah. And a brownout is like the machine in Star Trek, where it's like a teleport device.
Yeah.
So I was in a brownout. I remember like little bits of that night. Whereas, you just go to sleep and then you wake up somewhere else.
Yeah. I've done that too, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And there's another stat about that. I think it's like only like three out of 10 people have ever blacked out, which that was like news to me. I was like, wow, why would you even drink if you're not going to?
What's the point?
Yeah, what's the whole point? So, but yeah, I just think it was that I was scared. I mean, I didn't want to go to jail.
Yep.
I didn't want to lose my family, or my family as it existed. What's really crazy is that I prayed a lot about, like, I don't want to lose my family. I want my family to stay intact. And what was crazy is Nicole ended up leaving after I was 10 months sober, and she ended up, making the decision that this wasn't for her, which is, whatever. I respect that. The crazy thing is, looking back now, is so she never really had a good relationship with my family. So I got back, my prayer was answered. I got back my family. It just wasn't the family I was
thinking.
I wasn't specific with God. So, but now I have a great relationship with my sister again, and my parents.
Yeah.
And so it's really wild how things work. Like someone just texted me this morning that they're not a planner, and they make plans and God laughs. So I just, that's the story of my life, is I make plans and God laughs.
I saw something there. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
I saw something there. You were about to tear up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is it about your family that
Oh
got
no,
back?
it's just the whole experience of I'm just grateful I don't have to live like that anymore.
Yeah.
I
God
mean,
bless you.
I remember and you know, on the DJing aspect of things, like it's funny because I DJ'd for years and years and years and years and never drank at weddings. I never drank at weddings, but if I was at a bar, I mean, that's how my drinking career, I would say, started. And
That was the circuit.
Yeah. I would basically, but it was crazy. I was living at home. I was in my mid-20s, and I would go DJ at the bar. At that time, I was getting like $100 a night, something like that. So, and they were paying me
Probably
directly.
free drinks,
The bar,
right?
No. The bar was paying me directly. So the funny thing is, I'd go to work, I'd drink,
You
and then they'd be like, "You owe me $20 at the end of the night," you know. So I just negative 20.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, not bad.
But at that time, I have to imagine you're doing what you love and drinking, and it's like that to me. I have to imagine that was everything. Like that was fun. Like that was.
It was good. I mean, it was fun until it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
It was, and that's what everybody's story is, and I think that's what the ramifications of the, I drank with impunity for a long time, and then finally they just, and it wasn't that I wasn't getting any, negative effects from it. It was that I just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I didn't see it. That's where the honesty kicked in. Like, I had to say, I'm an alcoholic.
So that was all happening. Yeah, that was all happening to you, and you finally admitted, yes, I have to face it, and I take it head on.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, honesty is a big thing, and like being honest with yourself is
Right.
huge.
Because in that process, you're telling yourself a story. I mean, even when I went through it, it was always something. There's always a reason why, and you're always telling yourself. Mm-hmm. So I have two things. One, the faith side of it. Were you spiritual, or what was your position with faith or God before and then after? Did it come about as a result of recovery, or were you always?
So that's a really good question. He's doing good with
I
the.
think
I didn't even have it written down.
Yeah,
I didn't even have it written down.
I'm telling
I
you.
saw you didn't have that written
Just a
down.
little confidence in himself. Love it.
So, like I said, I grew up. We went to church every week. It was just a regular Protestant. It was Christian. So I grew up like believing in a Christian God.
Yep.
Do I have the same opinion now? Yes, and I'm not a big fan of organized religion. I'll just be honest. I mean, I don't mind going to church. I'm just not a big fan of organized religion. And but when I say I believe that there's a spirit of the universe, a divine spark, whatever you want to call it, yes, I definitely. I mean, I don't think anything is a coincidence.
Yep.
Yeah.
As hard as that is to believe, but I've heard some people say, like, if you can explain God, he's not big enough.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, there's not. I mean, I don't take myself so seriously, like you guys were talking about earlier. Like I'm not in control of. I'm in control of me.
Yep.
How I feel. And what I do,
and how you respond.
That's about it.
Yeah.
My other question, and great. I never really was a big believer. Well, growing up, we didn't really go to church at all. There was not much talk of religion at all. As I got older, it's only been a few years where, like, I feel like I've really committed myself to believing. And I wouldn't say like it's not deep like church every Sunday, but I definitely every day talk to God. I believe 100% we're on our path, and it's the path we're on. It's there. And I think of a lot of stuff that went on when I was younger. We had a couple of very special guests last week, and it was both of our moms in preparation for a Mother's Day special.
One of the mothers.
And one of the questions I asked them was Was there anything that went on as a young single mom? Was there anything that happened then that just seemed so out of place or so wrong, but that now as an adult you're like, it makes sense, it was meant to be? And I ask that because I look at that in everything that goes on around me day to day, and I think my experiences as a youth have fed in and have a huge impact now. I think it's all connected. My other question. Actually, now I have two more, but DJing.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So DJing, what I find interesting is...
Is this a question? Or
we're getting there. My brother, I think, if I understand it right, my brother, I'd be drinking, among other things, but I'd be drinking, I'd be up late, I'd be listening to music. I'd even be laying in bed with my earphones in my ears, drunk, listening to music, and I'd share music with my brother. Well, my brother was going through recovery. And at one point, my brother was like, I don't listen to any of that anymore. I can't. So I piece it together, and I wonder for you, I realized the bars were like the scene, and that's my question. You kind of answered it, but my question was, does the DJing or the music or the partying ever in your mind, does it bring you back? But it sounds like you had a good kind of disconnect between bars and DJing and weddings. You know what I mean?
I did, and to make it like, so to tie them both together, one of the things that annoys me the most as a DJ is when someone will come up and like just set a bunch of drinks on my table.
Yeah.
Then it's not because of the alcohol; it's because if that spills, like
your equipment.
my equipment.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So, and people do it. Like, I was like, "Can you not sit that there?"
Yeah.
And then they might do it 15 times, and then I might get a little irritated. But
Do you need a bodyguard?
there you go.
I'll be there for you, buddy.
Yeah. I've taken people with me before, and usually I say, like, your main goal is to keep me company during the slow times. During cocktail hour and dinner.
Right.
And then whenever dancing starts, you can take requests if you want, and just make sure people don't put their drinks on my table.
Exactly.
Other than that,
I was going to say that's pretty cool. I would love to do that.
And you get a free meal out of it.
Yeah.
Usually.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
But what I was going to say is, somebody taught me early that they were like, look, you're an alcoholic. Like, there's no such thing as a trigger.
Yeah.
You want to drink.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if it's rainy, if it's nice out, things are going good, things are going bad. If it's a weekday, you're on vacation, you're not on vacation. Like, you wake up and your default setting is, I want the ease and comfort that comes with taking that drink.
Yeah.
And music doesn't really, quote unquote, trigger me. But then again, I mean, I was kind of programmed to think there's no such thing as a trigger.
Yep.
It's me.
Well,
like, I introduce myself. I introduce myself as I say, I'm an alcoholic, and my problem's name is Matt.
I like it.
Yeah,
Love you, dude.
Because
You're always dropping these
alcohol
little
was my solution. It was never my problem.
Yep.
It was the solution to this problem.
Yeah.
You know, the space between my left ear and my right ear are the most dangerous place for me to be, and the alcohol like shut that all down. You know.
So a question. I listened to Scott Galloway, this podcaster who believes in young men, and he supports them 100%, but to go out and socialize and have a drink here and there. Mm-hmm. What would you say to that high schooler who's at Oakdale High School, let's just pick a high school locally, that wants to go out, have fun with their friends, have a drink or two, and looking back at yourself saying, you know, what advice would you have for them to say, it's okay, you don't have to?
Part of me wants, like, part of me would say that I don't even know why I ever started drinking.
I wish I would have never.
Yeah. But the other part of me, again, we were talking about the whole God thing, and nothing happens by mistake. In my opinion, nothing happens by mistake. It's the coincidence or God's way of staying anonymous. I think each person has to do whatever they have to do to get that gift of desperation to want to make the change, to be able to be honest with themselves. So I feel, I mean, pain is the touchstone of growth. All these things I'm saying are not like,
Scott, this guy's On point.
They're not like my unique thoughts. They're just things I've heard over the years, but things I believe. Pain is a catalyst for change.
Yeah. There is no doubt.
I don't think there's a greater one. I mean, put me in enough pain, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the documented stories of these people, like, being in the burning boxcar of a train and squeezing through an opening that there's no physical way they could have gotten through, and they get through it.
Yeah.
So
it's an act of God. I mean, and the pain to get through that. So what do you do from afar, right? So let's say I have a dear friend who, the other day I heard a story. I was like, no, this can't be my buddy. There's no way. Sure enough, the source was
accurate.
Very accurate. And I went, I thought he was past this. So I heard you say some people relapse, right? How do you go and help that person? What would I do as a friend? How do I support them?
You just love them from afar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all you can do. Because again, I feel like until that opportunity and willingness and honesty kind of meet, like, there's not a whole lot you can do. Like, if I think about what it took for me to get sober, like, if I wouldn't have gotten that third DUI, I probably wouldn't be sober.
And you always hear people say, like, you've got to want it, right? You can't want it for someone. You can't force them into it. They've got to be to a point where they want it and they're ready.
It's so hard to watch from afar.
Yeah, I hear people say this all the time. I mean, and I hear people come into the room say, you guys loved me until I loved myself.
Yep.
So it's kind of the same thing, I think.
Gems. That's beautiful.
It's very hard because I sit here and I watch from afar and I want to go and strangle them.
Yeah.
Punch them.
Smack them in the face.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
And they're they're great people. He is a phenomenal person. And he's been down that path and you just want to go and do that. Or like you're saying, give him a hug. So what I could do from afar is just send a text and say, hey, I love you, thinking about you. And that's about it, right?
Want to come grab a coffee with me at Baltimore Coffee someday? Whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever. Whatever you feel appropriate.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And don't bring it up. Like, how do you, when you were at that point, like, whatever anybody said to you didn't mean anything, right?
Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have mattered. My ex-wife told me whenever she married me, she said, I knew you were an alcoholic. And I said, yeah. Because not many people did, but she grew up with that. Like, her parents were both alcoholics.
Oh, they were?
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe still are. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
So, and I'll dig into that. Just so someone in that position, I'm trying to think through when you were at your worst, or however you say it, that, and someone you cared about sat down with you and wanted to say something. Not that I'm trying to piece together what Dario's saying. Say Dario sits down with that friend of his that's going through it. In the back of his mind, he wants so bad to say something other than, man, I love you, I'm here. What could that conversation be? Is it just, I'm just checking on you, how are you? Just to be there and stay away from that, right? I guess I'm trying to maybe put some information out there for people who want to have a discussion with someone they care about but don't know how to approach a discussion. Not like an intervention, not talking about alcohol, but how could you handle that discussion so that you...
I tell you what really clicked for me was going to rehab and hearing this, and I'm going to relate this, going to rehab and hearing people share feelings, not necessarily the same stories, because I feel like my story isn't all that bad, as far as I've heard crazy stories.
Right.
Really crazy stories.
You're here, you're looking good,
Yeah.
you're a solid dude right now. It's not as bad as what some others have gone through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. I mean, lost everything and to the brink of death. So, I mean, some people have literally died multiple times. It's more of a narcotic thing, but have died and they're still alive, and then they just continue to do it,
Repeat
and
it.
do it, and do it. And I mean, I've heard people saying that being Narcaned is like one of the worst experiences they ever had, but they've been Narcaned like 15 times. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I won't, obviously it's anonymous, but
Yeah.
I had a couple like really big moments in rehab, and one of them was right before I got out. I had a friend of mine. I actually DJ'd his wedding a couple years later. He relapsed, but he's he got clean again and he got married, and I DJ'd his wedding. But when we were in rehab, I said, like, I can't relate. How can you like literally know that you're going to do enough to overdose? Like, how stupid are you? And he said, I don't know. How stupid are you to get 3 DUIs?
Well, but I
touche.
also compare it. Think of your outlook on blacking out.
Yeah.
It's almost the equivalent, I would think, for someone. I mean, someone who's doing a drug
Yeah.
rather than alcohol. That's
Right.
almost their equivalent.
Right.
Right?
it's-
I mean, I guess it's kind
And
of
it's
deep.
also to a point where you're your inhibitions are going so much.
Yeah.
And whatever you're doing, I mean, you might be so depressed that you're like, I don't care if it ends right now.
Yeah, it could
you
be,
know.
yeah.
So, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do get that, but that was like a really relatable moment for me. Was like, it was kind of that, it helped me to come to the realization that, I do have I'm not better than anybody else. I'm the same as them, For me, you said it earlier, and there's an expression: one's too many and 1,000 is never enough.
Yeah.
And that's how I was living,
You put your pants on just like me, buddy.
Yeah.
One leg at a time.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
it.
The addiction side, it was always just alcohol for you.
Yes, see,
Yeah.
I did other stuff. I'm glad I never got into some of the other stuff. I never tried some of the stuff, and I'm glad because
Yeah.
the way I work with alcohol, I'd probably be dead.
So
Yeah.
a question
Yeah.
I have for listeners would be, the solution for what was going on between your left and right ear. For the longest time, the solution was alcohol. Mm-hmm. And I realize it might be AA, it might be faith, it might be exercise, and you're in great shape, you look great.
Oh, thank you.
But what is your what have you replaced that solution with?
So really, one of the main things I replace it with is trying to, freely give to other people what was given to me. I wasn't charged. Well, I paid a lot of money for some of the stuff I did, but I wasn't charged for this solution I have now.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I spend like mentoring guys.
Awesome.
And going back to the religion, spiritual thing, like I really believe now, and I again, not a unique thought, but a lot of days, for the average person that doesn't believe in God or doesn't, I can't see God. How do I know God exists? I can't see God. A lot of times God speaks to me, I feel like, speaks to me in an L through you guys. Like, that's God. And a lot of times in meetings, I'll hear somebody say something and be like, wow, I really needed to hear that.
Yep.
I've even had experiences going through my divorce. I was talking to another guy who was super struggling with his significant other, and I was in my bathroom mirror, like literally screaming and crying at this guy. Like it was frustrating. And I realized about halfway through the conversation, I think I started crying because I realized about halfway through the conversation, I was talking to myself. Like God was talking to me through the mirror, because what I was telling him was exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
That gave me cold chills. That's amazing,
man. It was crazy.
As you say
Yeah.
that,
Wow.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah,
with
that's what I
Chris.
mean. Yeah.
And the more I let go and believe in my faith is exactly when I ran into you. When I said to myself, oh, you know what? Normally every day I go and make a right turn. Today, I'm going to make a left turn. And as soon as I make that left turn and I go somewhere that I don't want to go, but I just believe in it and follow it, was the day I ran into you.
Yeah.
And it's just like unbelievable, but it is believable now, because as you say that, there's certain times when I just go, I have to let go. I am not in control. And as soon as I get to that point, it's just like, oh, the light bulb went off and we got a chance to meet up again after how many years we'd seen each other.
Yeah.
And here we are today. It was just like, yep, okay, he gave me a sign, let's run with it. And the more I do that, the more also it reinforces there's good things to come from it when you do that.
Yeah.
So.
It's only been the last few years, but the more I believe, and I'd say let go, and I'd say not just let go, but what I've started to do is trust those signs. So I believe God puts people in your path at the right time on purpose. So I work with a guy, and he's an amazing person, and his purpose in life has been to provide joy to children. He owns summer camps, camps for kids.
We're talking about Joe?
Yeah. And his purpose is to provide happiness to children. He's always remained aligned with his purpose. But what he said to me was, I've always trusted in the fact that God puts the right people in my path at the right time. So what I've learned to do is always keep that in my mind, and and look for those signs, look for those people. So sometimes someone will come into my path, and I used to have just been like, whatever it is. And now I'm always thinking of, well, hold on, why, and how can you help this person? How can you guys work together?
Yeah, and you may never know too.
Right. And so I am more mindful of that, and I look for it. The other thing is, I've also learned to accept those signs. So, for instance, Dario and I agreed a year and a half ago we would do a podcast. We were sitting over at this table over here and recording ourselves. For 8 or 10 episodes, we would record ourselves. At first, we thought we were the fun part of our podcast. And so we'd record, we'd talk, and it was really just he and I just bullshitting. And I learned real quick that people don't want to hear that. But when we were recording, a guy walked up to us and was like, "What are y'all doing? What are you doing?" And we explained to him what we were doing, and he was like, he started telling us about his story. And he went through, he had a rough marriage, he had strokes, he had bad health. He ended up being our first guest. And then each time we have recordings, we would be at Gravel and Grind, someone would come up, the whole time we were recording, I'm watching them, and they're eyeing us, and at the end of the recording, they come up, and she's a retired VP from Atlantic Records who has connections into iHeart. Or 2 days before Christmas, we're in Olney recording an episode, 6:30 in the morning, a guy's eyeing us. At the end of the episode, I walk over, or he walks over, we start talking. He's high up at an agency in California that represents, it's creative artist agency, represents podcasters. And he's in, so what I'm saying is, it's like I look for these signs. I will say something that's special, meaningful to me. Walk in here, sitting here this morning, Dario's on a call, waiting for you to show up. Every time we come here for a year now, I'm always like, I wonder what Todd's doing. He was our guest from our first episode. In he walked this morning, came up and gave me a big hug,
Totally.
And he was just sitting over there this morning when you walked in. Anyways,
It's all community.
So I just, man.
I want to turn the page.
Long way to get to that, but
and the turn the pages is okay. We're here today, right? And what are you doing these days? What are you excited about? Like,
I'm looking. I don't know. I'm looking for a new chapter of some kind. The DJ business has slowed down a little bit. I don't know if people just aren't getting married as much or just aren't doing the big celebrations as much anymore. But yeah, just looking for something. I don't know. I've thought about getting into psychology.
You may not know, right?
I may
come
not
to you.
know. Yeah, it'll come to me, and I'm just gonna try to go wherever my higher power takes me, and do the next indicated thing, I guess.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So a way that you're helping and you're giving back, I think is amazing. You mentioned mentoring. So how does that play out? Where do you decide to focus that attention on someone? And if someone wanted to be mentored, how could you help them? Or maybe that's something that's your next path. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the mentorship, I think, is huge. So how does that happen?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Basically, what happens within the rooms and within the recovery community is someone usually asks you if you'll sponsor them, mentor them, whatever the case may be, help them. And I very rarely have said no.
Yeah.
Usually I say yes. And because I find that usually when I'm going through my darkest spots, I get that, hey, will you work with me? Like, yeah, I think that's a sign.
Yeah.
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 Have you ever
run with
considered formalizing that maybe? Maybe there's a formal way to provide that mentorship. I think there's a huge place for it.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the big topics we talk about is mentoring and guidance for the youth, for young men these days.
Yeah. Well, I think there's, Chris and I were talking about this and as well with you at Gravel and Grime when we were there, is there's a gap, I suspect, in our country or, in our communities where there are certain folks who are looking to have someone outside of their, significant other or their parents, just somebody who they can trust will show up, reliable, trustworthy, to listen to them, to ask those questions of like, hey, what do I do in this situation? Because I know sometimes Chris and I just never really had anybody to turn to that I could trust, even though I love my mother, love my stepfather, and I love those people, but I didn't really feel comfortable with them to say they're not going to judge me.
Right. We never even turned to each other when we were younger. Like, there's stuff that I learn about him, and I've known him for 30 years. There's stuff I learn about him now we never talked about.
Well, there's a whole stigma about that, right? Like, I can't cry in front of another guy. I can't show any kind of weakness. I can't. When in reality, like, I mean, the Bible talks about it. Like, everyone has the same problems. We all have the same. Everyone in general. I don't have a unique problem that no one else in the world is ever going through.
That's right.
So why wouldn't I share it with somebody and maybe see how they handled it? I mean, I don't have to take that advice.
Yeah.
In fact, that's one of my favorite sayings is, here, take my advice. I'm not using it. Because, I'm really good at sitting down with somebody and I can mentor them and tell them to do X, Y, and Z. And then whenever that same thing happens in my life, kind of like with the guy in the mirror.
Yeah.
I can't take my own advice. I'm really good at doling it out. So that's why I need other, sober guys that have gone through similar stuff to bounce my ideas off of, because sometimes it's still crazy stuff in there. And I'll say it, and sometimes I'm not smart enough to look in the mirror and say, hey, should I try to steal some firewood from Lowe's today? Or whatever. And like, if I don't think it sounds crazy enough in the mirror, I might call somebody and say, I'm just trying to think of something crazy.
I've thought of some crazy things. We all have, believe me.
I paid for one bundle, but I'll take 5. Whatever. So.
Why would I pay $6 and this little spot right here for one little bundle?
I can go in the woods and collect it for free.
Yep.
No,
my gosh. So what
edit
about
that part out?
What about dads?
Oh, so
being a father. Tell us a little bit about your children.
Yeah, so I heard you guys allude to the fact that the whole, I think it's harder. I think that it's naturally harder, for guys to be dads than moms to be moms. Like, there's just a different, and again, this is my moral and philosophical convictions coming through, but my dad was never like lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't until I got out of rehab that I started saying I love you to my dad, like on a regular basis. Yep. Like, it was my mom that tucked me in and rubbed my head and said I love you and all that good stuff.
Yep.
And then a friend of mine, told me the other year, she was like, she basically said, like, what you're doing is a really good thing, because some people don't have other men in their lives. And she threw this statistic out about, if you go to prisons, 90% of the population had no male role model.
Yep.
I mean, that's probably skewed, because at one time it was like mom gets custody, mom gets custody, mom gets custody. So it's probably skewed to that, but Yeah, I think there is like a need for mentoring for
Absolutely.
men. Like Frederick has women to women mentoring.
Yeah.
It's like a whole organization. I don't know of any men to men.
Women helping other women.
Yeah, I don't know of any man to man like mentoring organization that even exists.
We could call it Mom. Men helping other men.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a. I know Chris could attest to this. I definitely could attest to it. My stepfather never told me, "I love you." I had to go to my mom and tell her to tell him,
Yeah.
to tell me that he loves me, and that's all I wanted. It was just for a man to say, "Hey, I love you. You're doing great." That's it. That was
Yeah.
my love language, and
Yeah.
it never came.
I have guys that tell me all the time, and I'm like, it's like, you're this, and you're this, and you're this, and you're this. And like I said, loving on me until I can love myself.
Yep.
And I even still need that. I mean,
Yep.
It's nice to hear another guy say, you're in shape, or you're
Yeah,
a good looking
yeah, yeah.
dude.
That was the
or
first
you
thing I
seem
noticed
like
when I
you've
saw
got
you.
everything
Yeah.
together, or whatever. Like, it's good to hear. Even if
Yeah.
it's not true, it's good to hear.
right, even if it's not true.
Even if it's not true.
And I think I will say one of the things I'm very fortunate of, growing up, spent a good bit of time. My mom and dad divorced when I was 5. She got remarried to my stepfather later on. They divorced when I was 12. Went through dropped out of high school, and at that time when I was going through that in high school, it was interesting. I remember our principal at the time. I remember him looking across the table and saying to my mom, if there was a male in his life, he wouldn't be acting the way he's acting. Now, at the
Oh, what was
time,
the-
that
who
was
was-
probably not appropriate to
who was
say.
the principal again?
I probably shouldn't say it.
Oh,
Yeah, you know this.
Yeah.
You could always edit it out.
But what he said was if there was a male in his life, he would not be acting this way. But I will say this. I definitely agree as I've gotten older, and not to discount anything, because I think one of the best things that ever happened to me was I was raised by 2 women. So early on, I was very in tune with
your
emotions and
emotions.
feelings
Yeah.
and love.
A little
If
too
anything,
much.
I love too hard. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I get that. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that is that's what my friend was trying to express to me, was that with a guy, there's more typically, and again, this is a stereotypical thing, but typically with men, there's less emotion and it's more like regimented, and there's a routine, and there's, I still struggle with that a little bit. I love being a dad. I love watching my kids grow and become who they are, and yeah, like Dario had said, my 18-year-old doesn't talk to me. I mean, she was the one that was most affected by my alcoholism. She heard me and my ex like screaming at each other at night. We'd walk into her room, she'd still be awake, and then it's like, you need to go to bed. There was like no compassion. I mean, either one of us were doing that. You need to go to sleep. It's 10:30 or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we were the ones keeping her up, and then she had to suffer through that. And I think I don't regret it, but I think the fact that I took like because it takes 2 people to be doing stuff like that. But because I took kind of responsibility for, I went to rehab and I said I'm an alcoholic, and I think that the kind of the brunt of the failure of that marriage and the dissolving of that family as it existed, like, falls on me.
Yeah.
So I get why she's upset. And it's funny because I'll see her out and I'll talk to her whenever I see her. Both my daughters work at Chick-fil-A in Walkersville. So whenever if I go there, I'll see her and I'll say hi, but I'll text her and I never get any response. And I mean, I'd like to think eventually she'll come around.
Yep.
And I mean, she's an 18-year-old girl, and when I was 18-year-old, I was the smartest person in the world, and I didn't need my parents for anything.
Sometimes
I
it takes
didn't-
20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
I didn't ever really like reconcile and get to a good point with my dad until 2 years ago. I'm 47. So, not that I'm just saying sometimes it takes a while. I mean, it took me really growing and doing this and talking with people and talking with Dario to the point where I got to a good point to grow and get past what I was holding on to.
Yeah.
In
it's hard.
time, it comes. It comes.
Did you ever go through therapy at all, though, when
That's
you were
what I
doing?
was gonna ask
No.
too.
No?
I did some.
Yeah.
Well, when you go through recovery and then all your meetings, it's so therapeutic.
It's
I mean, I'm
almost-
sure it is
It's almost
therapeutic.
like therapy.
Yeah.
In your rehab, though, were you working with licensed?
Yes.
Yeah, my brother was for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
they were more their. I think more of their objective was to just get you to be honest and
Honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
About how much you'd really done and burn your life down and what you needed to do or how you needed to change. I really liked the rehab as far as like it was regimented. Like I needed that. Like I needed to. We're doing this at this time. This is at this time. This is at this time. You know, lights out at this time.
Yeah.
You liked it.
Out of bed at this time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the military. I mean, I probably would have thrived in the military. It was always something I wanted to do, but I never did because I tore my ACL when I was young and
Yeah.
was told I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So I was like, because I wanted to do buds. I wanted to be like an Army Ranger or a Navy SEAL or a Marine Recon or, something.
So what
like
are you
that.
doing to keep in shape now, though? Man, you're like
It's funny because
you're like a Jocko. Freaking
I owe a
Williams
lot.
over here.
I honestly owe a lot of my my fitness journey to Danny at Soldier Fit.
Danny. Doesn't he do a nonprofit too? He helps with a nonprofit.
Yeah,
or
he
no?
helps with. He does. What is it? 22. I can't think of what it's called. Platoon 22.
Platoon 22. Yep.
Yeah, Platoon
Okay.
22. I'm not exactly sure what that is. It has something to do with veterans, though.
Yeah. Yep.
But
what
I
I
just
named.
love watching his stuff, and like I love the fact that he says. I know some other guys too. Like I know Johnny Slick, who owns. I can't think of what
In downtown Frederick or Frederick area.
Yeah,
Okay.
he used to work at the Y, and then he started his own thing.
Got
But
it.
both those guys, I watch them, and they're both kind of like. They obviously plug their own businesses, but
Yep.
they're also like Danny is big one talking about how, like, everybody's getting fat and doesn't care about their fitness.
Yeah.
And he said by I forget what it is, 2030, that like I forget what the percentage is, and what is it, like 62.7% of stats are made up.
Where you're living proof that
Right.
working out and doing things is
But
healthy.
he said that like it was some ungodly amount of Americans were going to be obese by, it was like 60-some%, I think.
Yeah.
I forget. It was some. I was like,
That's a
that's
stat
hard
I
to
would probably
believe, but
believe.
that's like wild.
Yeah. Well, they're making drugs now to
Yeah.
produce. So it probably is because it's a
I see all
business
these.
case.
Yeah, see, I never did any of the GLP. So what I did was I started working out at Soldier Fit.
Yep. Okay.
And I did that for, I don't know, almost a year. I hurt my wrist, and I just had to stop because
Yeah.
it was just too much. So I bought some different, like I bought the perfect pull up or perfect push up things, and I bought like a pegboard because my wrists were really hurt.
Yeah.
And someone explained to me what it is. And so I just started doing push-ups and body weight exercises and wall sits and some yoga style stuff, some Tai Chi style stuff. And I just work out at home now.
So what do you spend? 30 minutes, an hour, or it's just
Probably
like
throughout
habit?
the day. Like I was just telling somebody, like I started out doing 30 push-ups 10 times a day.
30 push-ups 10 times a day. Wow.
And now
Excellent.
I'm doing like 50, 6 to 7 times a day.
What happens if you don't do it?
Oh, I make myself do it.
You make it.
I'll go in the parking lot after we're done here and do
Yeah.
50 push-ups. And
Yeah.
then I'll be like, okay, and then when I get home, I'll do 50 push-ups or whatever.
I think you should coach football.
I
Get
was
on the
never good at football.
Yeah.
I was a baseball player. I
Were
was
you?
really good at baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. My
'Cause you
dad
could
was
be
my
on the
coach.
field
He was
doing
doing push-ups.
push-ups.
Yeah.
Come on, boys. Let's
I could
go.
probably do as many
Yeah.
as most high school kids.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I read another statistic because Danny loves push-ups.
Is it Danny Ferraro?
Yeah, Danny Farrar.
Yeah,
Farrar.
Farrar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he loves push-ups, and I sent him this one thing the other day, and I just turned 50 last year,
Wow.
and it said that the 99 percentile for a 50-year-old is 51 push-ups. And I sent him a text, and I was like,
I got that.
I
beat.
did 65.
By the
other
time I
night,
woke,
so,
by the time you woke up,
I think
Yeah.
that number's high, honestly. But
you do. How many you think you could do?
me?
Yeah.
maybe
Be honest with yourself.
25.
20? Okay.
Yeah. Now,
Nice.
But that's where I started. See, that's where I started
25.
though. I started doing like 25,
Yeah.
25, 30.
Yep.
Then it became 35. Then it was 40. And then 2 years later, I'm doing
Yeah.
sets of 50.
And I'll say one of the things that I go in and out of this habit, but I like breaking my runs up. So often what I'll do is like 2 times a week, I'll go do a 3 mile run. But every quarter mile, I'll stop. And I like doing like push-ups. What is it when you're doing a push-up and then you bring your
Oh yeah, I know
Like
what you're
you bring-
talking
Your
about.
knee up
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
something?
I did
So I
that
like
this
doing
morning. I
those.
did some push-ups and I
flex.
was bringing my
Yeah.
because I'm elevated a
Yeah.
little, so it's a little
Yeah.
easier.
So I'll
do
do
like
a
a
little
mount,
crunch in
like a
there.
half a mountain
Yeah.
climber kind of.
Yes.
crunch, yeah,
I
kinda.
love mountain climbers.
And what
Yeah.
I'll do is I'll do a quarter mile run. I'll do 15 push-ups with 15 of those, and I'll do that 6 times or whatever makes up 3 miles. So I go through phases, and there are times where I've gotten my numbers up to where like I'll do 25 5 times throughout my run.
Throughout the run.
Yeah. So I fluctuate. Right now, on a good day, just right, probably 25 maybe, but I definitely could
So
do
my
better
goal,
than that.
my goal daily is 300 push-ups. So however that
Yep.
breaks down.
Yep.
If it's 5
Well, you've
sets,
inspired me. I'm definitely going to do more.
Yeah.
What's the easiest thing to do at any point in the day? You could just, like you said, you could go outside. do
And the body
25
weight
push-ups.
stuff is an easy way to I
Yeah.
mean, whether you're doing air squats.
How long do you think you could do a plank? How long?
I've
could you
done a
hold it for?
7-minute plank.
7-minute plank. Do you have sweat coming off your head?
Oh
when you-
yeah.
Yeah.
Shaking.
Because you have no hair up there, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I love it,
Yeah.
man. It's great. Great look on you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so 7 minutes, and then sweat's just
Yeah,
Rolling,
I used to
beating
do
up.
5, and
5?
I got really upset. I forget what I was even upset about. And I was somewhere, and I told the person I was with, I was like, I'm gonna do a plank. Just time me.
time.
Yeah.
All right,
And
that's my goal tomorrow.
I was at like
The
5.
most I've done is 5 minutes.
5
That's the
minutes?
most
I was
I've
at
done.
5 minutes. So when I was in rehab, I started doing planks, and I think I got up to 5 minutes. And then like 5 minutes was kind of like I'd just do a couple that
Your
were
threshold.
5 minutes. Yeah. I'd be curious how like
I actually really
should be
like
the
doing
challenge.
planks.
Oh,
I really
you know
like
what?
doing planks.
You know what the-
this needs to go viral.
the record's ridiculous.
Viral. What is it?
The record for plank is ridiculous. I want to say it's like, I forget what it is. I want to say it's like 9 hours or something. Just
That's crazy.
absurd.
For the plank? And somebody
Yeah.
the other day, speaking of records, is somebody beat the 2-minute mile. I mean, 2-minute mile. Sorry,
4-minute
2
mile.
hour
Or 2 hour.
marathon.
Oh, yeah, that's something.
That's something right there. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to look into the plank, how long that is. 7 minutes is a goal,
Yeah.
and then it's a viral thing that could go for health, for a healthy thing here. All right, so
I want to say the 9-hour plank that I'm quoting is
this is where we need somebody in the background, Chris.
Yeah,
looking up our
doing
data.
research.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
as we're talking
yeah. Current record is for a male
for a male.
9 hours, 38 minutes, and 47 seconds.
That's serious.
Holy smokes!
So while you're at work all day,
7
this guy's
minutes
just
is
planking
nothing.
for
So
whatever.
I'm gonna have to. So I do my planks like this. I would have to like go to
9
one arm
hours.
and eat and drink. Like I need.
He's got
to,
an
I gotta
IV.
eat.
No, he's got an
see,
IV.
I plank.
Do you?
Straight
just
up?
Straight out.
So
I mean, it
that's
doesn't
7
matter.
yeah.
Either way, I
Okay.
think planking on your elbows is easier, but not as comfortable.
Yes, I like the.
Yeah. See, my
straight up.
shoulders really bother me. That's actually why.
Does that work most of everything, right? If you flex.
Well, here's the cool thing. I'm back to Danny.
Yeah.
Like Danny teaches when you do a push up to like flex your glutes,
Yeah.
Yes,
flex your hams,
right.
like hold
Everything,
your core
core.
tight, just basically tense everything up.
Yep.
And then
Are you
That's a
doing
good
push-ups like
workout.
this or like this?
wide or
Wide
narrow?
or- narrow.
I do all kinds of ways. So I have one of those little pegboards.
Yep.
And it tells you like this is for your chest. This is for your chest and back.
Yep.
This is for your chest and triceps.
Yep.
This
Yes.
is for your triceps.
Yep.
This is for your shoulders and your back, you know.
I'm gonna have to get me one.
And
of
I
those.
do like so
love
basically
that.
what I do is I just switch the pegs, do 50 push-ups.
Okay.
Switch
Where
the
did you
pegs
get this?
somewhere else.
Where did you get
do
this?
50. I think what
Amazon.
Amazon.
Gosh dang.
I'm
I
sure
need-
they sell them wherever.
Let's find somewhere else
but-
other than Amazon.
Yeah.
All right,
Why are
Chris.
you hating on
I
Amazon?
need to
don't
come
know,
up with
man.
my.
You know
maybe
what?
I'll,
That guy's
maybe
got
I'll just
enough
make
money,
them.
right?
Right?
He's
What about
sending
you and
rockets
me?
into space. Yeah,
Yeah.
just for fun.
Let's help out the local guys.
Yeah, there you go.
The Dannies of the world.
Yeah.
What didn't we ask you?
Or anything you want to touch on?
Anything you want to touch on, man?
I don't think there's anything. Easy
sure?
easy read. I'm not a reader.
Yeah.
Easy read, something that changed my life that I try to live by every day. And Chris kind of touched on it earlier. You guys familiar with the 4 agreements?
See?
You are familiar with the 4
I
agreements?
gave him a copy of it.
Oh, okay.
Impeccable.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Great book.
So a friend of ours.
Very good book.
You were talking
He-
about making assumptions
he
earlier. That's why I was, don't make
He
assumptions.
recommends reading it a couple times a year.
Yeah.
You know, a friend of mine, yeah.
You
But
pick up different
Chris made an
things every
assumption
time.
not too long ago.
Yeah.
Didn't you, Chris?
I'm bad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
that's why
very
it says
bad
because
about
it
it.
just makes you miserable. Like, I
Right?
feel like if you don't.
Totally
you know,
miserable.
Yeah.
I'm going to read
This
it
guy
again.
gave me the book.
Yeah, I
Chris
did.
gave me
I
the
did.
book, and
I
I
did.
didn't even take his own
He hadn't
advice.
read it all yet.
I
Look,
have.
I
I
just
read
made
it
an
all.
assumption.
Yeah.
You read it
I read
all,
it.
cover to
All
cover?
read it. Cover to cover.
Okay.
It's only like, what, 100 pages,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
It's an amazing book. Great call. It's an
I'm
amazing
trying
book.
to get
I
impeccable
gave my
with my
brother
words.
a copy too.
Yep.
Impeccable
Yeah.
with your word. Yep.
Yeah.
Everything's out of our control.
Be impeccable with your word.
Yep.
You know, don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. I mean, like, that's
Bravo.
like a
Drop
that
the mic,
should be
man.
everyone's mantra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you for
gonna read
being
it
here.
again. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So as we
Tremendous.
get towards wrapping up, I really appreciate having you, man. I this was a lot of fun. I love the conversation. Just one thing for the youth out there.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
Just something that you could impart on them if someone might be going through a tough time or not having direction, just unsure about life. What's a nugget, a gem? Even though you've given us so many, what's something you could leave them with?
The only way is through. How's that?
Damn right.
The only way is
Say
through.
that again?
The only way is through.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't skirt it. Don't try to
Yeah.
Don't try to get
Man,
rid of
that-
it with doing drugs or alcohol or any other kind of outside. Just go through it. And I found that I can't ever think my way into a better way of acting. I always have to act my way into a better way of thinking.
Yeah.
Like I can't like I can read all the self-help, all the 4 agreements I want to until I start moving my body in a good specific direction. I can't, like, my brain's not going to do it for me.
Yeah.
I have to act it.
Yeah.
Move through it.
Tons of nuggets today,
Yeah.
man.
I mean,
Jeez.
great. Yep. We'll have to get the statistic out on that percentile of how many drinks somebody has
Yeah.
in a week. Was it a weekly basis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, yeah.
73
Yeah.
or 74 or something
Yep.
like that. It's crazy.
We have to start
Yeah.
providing
All right,
that
anything
data.
else?
No, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank
We
you,
love
man.
it. Nothing but air and opportunity. Foundationally, you were like a beacon.
And inspire to
So I think that's a key word, to inspire.
go towards change.
Can we talk about that?
Development and growth.
You've already laid the foundation and groundwork. You feel?
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Now hold on. Hold that thought. Take a deep breath. Feel me here, okay?
I got nothing but air and opportunity.